This is Rel Seas, and apparently it's the game that's gonna save Roblox. But how did a One Piece game made by two Caribbean brothers become the most anticipated thing on Roblox of all time? Well, first, we gotta talk about what exactly Rel Seas is. See, on Roblox, most One Piece games we get tend to be the same boring, honestly overhyped trash. But not Rel Seas, because Rel Seas, at least from appearances, is trying to be something different. It's a breath of fresh air in a community where it's honestly sometimes hard to breathe. Don't believe me? Okay. Mounts, submarines, customizable ships that actually mean something, guns, conquerors hot. The 5 things I just mentioned are arguably some of the biggest aspects of One Piece, and yet I haven't seen most of those things in any other game but Rel Seas. And this is a game that's not even out yet. And it's not even just that. This game is literally just unlike any other One Piece game we've ever seen. One Piece is a huge, dynamic, beautiful world filled with gorgeous islands, all kinds of different creatures, different devil fruits, and pretty much anything you can imagine. It's not this, whatever this is meant to be. And this is what the platform is now. And I'm not trying to diss what One Piece games on Roblox are now, but let's be honest, this is not what us true One Piece fans want to see. Now this is what we want to see. But if all of the things that I mentioned before were enough to become the best One Piece game, Rel Seas wouldn't even be close. But the reason why it is, or that it might be, is because of the one thing that this game has that no other One Piece game on the platform does. People that care. See, if you thought Rel Seas would be anything like most typical One Piece games we get, well, you'd just be mistaken. For one, the sheer amount of content that this game has off rip is just plain ridiculous. 25 devil fruits, 25 individual devil fruits, each with their own abilities and moveset. For reference, Bloxter dropped with 12 fruits and Grand Peace Online dropped with 7 devil fruits. Rel Seas is dropping with 25. That's more than twice the average. And that's not even the official number. They may just decide to go ahead and drop with even more. But back to the topic, the amount of content this game is giving us is just plain crazy. A good game, in my opinion, is one that gives you options. And in Rel Seas, it really looks like they're going hard for that. If you enjoy PvE, the game lets you do that. And it's not like they're just boring random options that mean nothing either. Everything you do in this game leads into something. Like for example, if you're bored and have absolutely nothing to do, go exploring. Find chests, lockpick them, or go fishing, and then cook that fish. And it's not like exploring, for example, has no purpose in this game either. You can find things like sea beast parts to use to upgrade your ship and make it go faster, or blueprints to craft new items. Or if you'd like to fight something, just get your crew together and go box one of the many bosses put into the game. Because yeah, there's that too. I'm not gonna lie, this game is looking like it'll probably have some of, if not the best PvE in a One Piece game on Roblox. I mean, the game literally has an actual wildlife system where you can come across wild sea beasts, bears, deer, dinosaurs, and more. So basically just One Piece in a game. Simple, right? Or at least it should. But if you're like me and you're way more of a PvP type of player, surprisingly, the game doesn't disappoint there either. The combat system, while not being super complicated, is still super unique with evade, parry, and heavy attack mechanics. And probably my favorite thing about this game's combat is how everything is connected to your build, which should seem obvious, but here's what I mean. See, in Rel Seas, your character and the way that it's built revolves around posters. Your character has posters for Haki as well as straight up combat, and each poster does something different, like this poster, for example. It allows you to get towards your enemies after you end a combo by throwing them away. Or this observation Haki poster that allows you to dodge up to 8 times. Or even this conquerors Haki poster that allows you to knock out players who are near you. And this poster system is really great too, because it literally means that every player should have somewhat of a unique build, as hopefully people choose different posters depending on what playstyle works out for them. Hopefully this doesn't just lead to people choosing the meta of what the best posters are, but we move. But you can see how this might end up changing combat, right? What if, for example, you use this poster that allows you to end your combo with a strong Haki punch? Your enemy, for example, use this poster that allows him to get towards you after he finishes his combo. The amount of potential for this combat system that they've created here is insane. And then there's the simpler mechanics, the stuff that most games wouldn't think or even care to add, like sliding, wall running, blacksmithing, or cooking. All just things that literally fits in One Piece. Damn near everything Luffy does requires some sort of mobility. Mobility is huge in One Piece, and yet pretty much no other One Piece game, aside from maybe One Piece Blue, has even bothered with adding in something as simple as sliding, and especially not as something as unique as wall running. One of the biggest themes in One Piece are the different swords and wielders, so of course blacksmithing, for example, would make sense in this game. And don't even get me started on cooking. I don't think I have to explain how big that is in One Piece. Then there's the bundle of different mounts you can ride on, like giant crabs, wolves, foxes, literal goats, or more normal stuff like Smoker's Bite. And then there's the thing that people care about the most, devil fruit. Like I said earlier, Rel Seas is planning on releasing with over 25 devil fruit. For reference, every single player in this game on release will have access to just a little over half the amount of fruits that Bloxter players have had over the last 6 years. That means that hopefully the amount of variety and uniqueness to each build should be super high. as each and every player has the ability to choose from 25 different fruits. And it's not like there's just a lot of them. The way these fruits are made is pretty cool too, and you can tell that there's genuine effort and thought put into the way they were designed. For example, in most One Piece games, devil fruits are the end-all be-all. Once you have them, you're just the strongest. But not in Rel Seas, because in Rel Seas, the combat is actually designed to interact with the devil fruits in a way where, for example, someone with just Haki could box against someone with the Goro fruit in their giant lightning form. Unlike most other One Piece games, where once you get a crazy devil fruit, it's just over. And it's not just devil fruit versus Haki that has thought put into it either. Devil fruit abilities can interact with each other. Like, for example, the Smoke fruit and the Flame fruit. They can actually come together to clash, just like how Ace and Smoker did in the show. Another thing that shows that they're actually watching. Or the Bari fruit, which can reflect devil fruit attacks with its ability. The developers of this game have clearly done their homework, and it shows, because the game is literally presented to look like a love letter to real fans of One Piece. Bullets shot by snipers can be deflected. Guns have actual recoil and useful skills to let you know that they aren't just a joke like in every other One Piece game we've seen. Devil fruits look unique and actually seem like a breath of fresh air, with most zones coming with different hybrid, full, and human transformations, each with their own unique set of abilities and playstyle. One of my favorite fruit though is the Phoenix fruit, and not even just because it looks good, but because they've done the one thing that we've been begging One Piece games to do with this fruit for years, and that's literally just give it good combat. You can actually box with the fruit the way it's intended to be used, the same way that Marco used it in the show, and was literally piecing up 2 Yonko commanders at the same time with. But if you were to hop in literally any other One Piece game, you would assume that this fruit can't really do much but fire on and heal in the show, which is just not true. And that's not all from devil fruits either. See, rather than just going the traditional approach, Rel Seas is aiming to take the game one step further and create a unique twist on the devil fruit, giving each fruit some sort of unique aspect, like the Bari's reflection ability, or the Flame or Quake fruit's enhanced punches, or the Ice fruit's ice sword. Now this could be either a really cool thing or a really bad thing. It really just depends on how far away from the source material they're willing to stray and how exactly they implement it, but as long as they keep it at least somewhat relevant to what was shown in the show, I'm cool with it. And then it's not even like devil fruits are the only thing getting love in this game, because Haki is pretty well made too. In this game, it seems like not only does Haki actually matter, outside of course being able to hit low gears and dodging a few attacks, but it's also actually important. For example, you can use Shanks' Wi-Fi Haki, which is from a relatively later scene in the One Piece series, and it's my first time seeing this in a Roblox One Piece game, or at least a good one. Or how about Luffy's start of Wano Conqueror's Haki? This is literally just a poster that lets you knock players out after you've been knocked down, just like how Luffy did at the start of Wano. And what most people don't understand is, with the way that the game is being built up right now, with the level of accuracy on the devil fruits, Haki, and overall worlds, the amount of content that could be added in future updates is crazy. I mean, just imagine playing with King's actual Pteranodon fruit that has actual decent fight combat, or using a realistic string fruit that allows you to fly around the map by attaching your strings to clouds and feel cool while doing it, or even just exploring through a decent Wano map and then fighting a Kaido boss. The amount of potential here is wild, and the craziest part about this is, it's not like Rel Seas is doing anything insane. Yes, don't get me wrong, the game looks phenomenal, and the amount of effort they put in is crazy, but ultimately, at the end of the day, all they're really doing is giving us what we've been asking for what feels like years. A real Roblox One Piece game. Not these cash grab bandit beaters that have taken over the platform. And if you thought you were just getting realism with the devil fruits and Haki, well, you'd be wrong, because the weapons and fighting styles are realistic too. Brook's guitar, Mihawk's Yoru, which for some reason is a game pass in every game, rather than just being a normal weapon like it was in the anime. And before you say, Chris, it was one of the strongest weapons in the show, I know, but that doesn't mean I want to pay 5,000 Robux just to use it. You think Mihawk was paying 5,000 Robux just to use a damn sword? I don't think so. Not only do the weapons look good, the fighting styles do too. And I have to say, they did my GOAT Sanji justice with Blackleg in this game. It looks clean. And another insane mechanic that I still haven't mentioned are the in-game events. See, in Rel Seas, there are over 40 in-game pirate factions that you as a player can encounter. Each of these factions have their own unique laws, and you can also build relations with these factions in order to change your gameplay. All this to say, Rel Seas is not just a normal One Piece game. No matter what opinion you may have on the game, the lengths that they're going to, and plain and simple, the things that they're trying to add to this game, even if you hate this game completely, you have to at least respect the level of dedication it takes to try to do something new in a field dominated by those who just aren't doing that and are still seeing so much success. And I can go on and on about the things that this game is doing. Like, another thing I didn't even mention was the fact that this game's submarines actually have mechanics. Now, actually, screw the mechanics, it has submarines. What One Piece game has that? You can use sonar, enter a battle mode that gives you different attacking options like firing missiles or machine guns and more. There's a fishing dex that's sole purpose is literally just to record the fish that you've caught. There's a cooking dex for recipes, craftsman dex for crafting recipes, exploring dex for obviously places you've explored. All of these things are simply to record your gameplay. But we already knew that the game was unique, and we also know that they're trying to add in new stuff. But what else is there? What's the future of Ralph Seas? Well, first, the game obviously has to be released. And then that's where the real test will begin. Because ultimately, the only way we'll truly be able to know whether or not Ralph Seas lives up to the hype is when we're actually able to play the game for ourselves. But what if it doesn't? What if Ralph Seas, arguably the biggest One Piece game we've had in years, doesn't live up to expectations? Well, here's what I think. Even if the game does release and they've done the best they could, there's still gonna be a group of people that just aren't satisfied and just don't like the game. And that's what that needs. And the game could just release and not live up to the promises that they've made. And then players would have legitimate criticism. But let's be real, the game's not gonna be perfect. It will have flaws. But regardless, whether or not the game does live up to its expectations, there's one thing that's guaranteed. People are going to play this game. And that's not just due to the sheer level of hype it has, but also because of the people who are making it. Gaiden OA, Beyond, Road Piece, Shinobi Origin, Shindo Light. Recognize any of those games? Yeah, I'm sure you do. Because these are all games created by the Crib Brothers, who are obviously making Ralph Seas. These people aren't new to making anime games. And not only that, they have a name and a reputation and a loyal audience that will continue to follow them game after game. So yeah, this game is practically guaranteed to do well, at least to some level, between the fan base that the Crib Bros already have and the actual audience just waiting for the game to come out. I mean, this game has gotten so popular that just the preview trailers alone on their YouTube channel are averaging millions of views. And you think that none of this is going to translate to actual players? I'll put it this way. Shinobi Life 2 was averaging hundreds of thousands of players, and that's Naruto. One Piece is arguably the biggest anime in the world, and now you're combining it with the Crib Brother game? Of course this game is going to do numbers. But the question isn't, will the game do well, or even will it live up to its promises? The question is, are you going to enjoy the game? Are you going to enjoy playing Ralph Seas? And honestly, I don't know. You'll just have to play it. But one thing I can say for sure is One Piece is nothing if not a story about variety. Each and every character has something that's unique to them. Whether it's Sanji's black leg fighting style or Zoro's three-sword fighting style, where the guy literally has a third sword in his mouth that he fights with, or even something like Usopp's unique plant sniper. And Ralph Seas, it genuinely seems like the game is shaping up to translate that level of variety to Roblox. I mean, just imagine you running a no devil fruit hockey build like Shanks, for example, and your crewmates doing the same, like the red-haired pirates, or doing the complete opposite and running a full devil fruit crew like the Beast Pirates, or going hybrid with some members using fruits and others using weapons like the Straw Hat Pirates. Oh, and speaking of the Straw Hat Pirates, did I mention that this game is releasing with Gear 4? Not waiting for the 20th update 5 years later, GPO. No, they're releasing with Gears up to 4. Maybe even 5, I don't know. So yes, even if you're a legitimate hater of Ralph Seas and you despise the game and everything it's doing, you at least have to admit that to some degree, this game is not like the rest, nor is it trying to be. Other One Piece games see One Piece and say no. Ralph Seas, on the other hand, embraces it. It not only adapts the source material, but also does it in a way that, for the most part, as I said earlier, just makes the game seem like a genuine love letter to all those who love and enjoy One Piece. And let's be real, who doesn't? But at the end of the day, this is all just speculation. Maybe Ralph Seas won't be everything we want it to be. Maybe it will. But if I'm being honest, I want to believe. I want to think that One Piece games on the platform, on this platform, can be more, because they should. And with how much potential Roblox has as an engine, I don't see why they can't. But maybe that's just me.